Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's a wonderful day. It is a wonderful day. Accountability. How much does society place on us? And what is our responsibility to ourselves for accountability? Dear God, as I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you, dear God, in the name of Jesus, that any outstanding sins will be forgiven. Amen. Amen. We're talking about accountability today. Accountability. All of us have a certain amount of accountability. So, what is healthy? What is not? Should we be accountable for many things? What kind of accountability does society place on us? I'm going to I'm going into the co-pilot power dynamics, and let me get it right. Power dynamics and unequal accountability. Power dynamics and unequal accountability. So I want to get this right and get it started. Conflict theorists argue that accountability often serves dominant groups, policing marginalized communities while overlooking elite misconduct. This creates asymmetrical pressure where some are held to higher standards than others, not always fairly. We're talking about accountability. Accountability. So I want to go here and make sure that I give the definition for accountability. It's going to come up in one of my articles. I just want to make sure that we get it here. Well, it'll just come up, so I'm going to continue just like I'm going. Talking about accountability and how much is too much. So, how much is too much? Society places accountability on us, and some I think is fair, some is not, because we cannot carry and the everybody's weight on our backs. Everything that happens, we cannot be accountable for everything. So, how much is too much? Accountability. How much is too much? Okay. How much is too much? Trying to get this mouse going like it should. It depends. In healthy societies, accountability empowers people. In rigid or unjust systems, it can become a fool of control or a tool of control. The key is balance. Accountability should promote growth, not fear. The key is balance, okay? Accountability should promote growth, not fear, and we know it doesn't always do that, don't we? So how much is too much accountability? Would you say we feel overly burdened by societal expectations, or do you find them motivating? And I guess it depends on who you are and what your motive in life is. So that is from the co pilot here from Microsoft. So let's go on to another here Microsoft Bing. How much accountability should we accept? To determine how much accountability to accept, consider the following. Understand the importance. Accountability is crucial for developing integrity and building trust with others. So these are what we have to consider to determine. This is Bing, bing.com, to determine how much accountability to accept. We have to consider the following, and we should consider the following. These are suggestions, okay? But you know that research usually is involved in everything I present to you. I try to have it and have it on point for you and try to give you the statistics and all of that to prove that some of these, to prove what it needs to prove to us, okay? So understand the importance. We have to understand the importance of accountability, okay? That's the first point. Accountability is crucial for developing integrity and building trust with others. And then we go to the next point, which is acceptance versus resistance. Accepting accountability can lead to personal growth and meaning in difficult situations. Oh, yes, it can. So, here's one part here, and I want to do this part. No excuses, no excuses. Accountability is up to you. And see, we have to understand this. We have to know the limits, our own limits. We have to know our own limits. No excuses, being accountable for your own success. And this is a good place here. Being accountable for your own success. Okay, let's get into it. Responsibility. Responsibility is not something you do, it's a way of thinking and being. When you're truly responsible, you believe that success or failure is up to you. Even if you work within a team or a blind or blindsided by unforeseen circumstances. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have another great topic today. You own your commitment and to a result before the fact, before you even take action. You own, OWN, your commitment to a result before the fact, before you even take action. Getting started. Be responsible either way. It's easy to claim responsibility when things go well, but it's hard when you when they don't. A truly responsible person, however, accepts responsibility either way. So next time you take on a project, be 100% responsible for the outcome. Not a little, not somewhat, not pretty much. Own it. 100%. Good or bad, with no wiggle room. Then the next part here is recognize your power. See, this is where we sometimes we miss out on this part because sometimes we might not have the encouragement we need. We might not have the courage we need. We might not have the support that we need or we expect from others when we undertake a project or a mission or something. So recognize your power. You have to recognize the power within. And truly, the only way you will succeed is by recognizing the power within. You have to recognize that first in order to succeed. So recognize your power. You already have the ability to be 100% responsible. Everybody does. And this is amnet.org. Amnet, AMNET.org. Recognize your power. You already have the ability to be 100% responsible. Everybody does. Yet most of us don't realize, or at least don't admit, that we alone have the power to manage our lives and careers. Sometimes we don't admit it because sometimes it wasn't instilled in us, and sometimes it just depends on who your parents, your guardians, were when you were coming up in life, what kind of self-esteem you have, and all of that depends really, really on your environment, on your background. So we have to know most of us don't realize, or at least don't admit, that we alone have the power to manage our lives and careers. Sure, you can give that power away, but that is a conscious choice. It doesn't happen without your permission. And there are people grabbing at you for, especially if you're doing something that they want and they are covetous of and jealous of you. They want the recognition for themselves. There's so much out here that can fight against you, and sometimes you don't realize it until it's too late. So sure, you can give that power away, but that is a conscious choice. It doesn't happen without your permission. Okay. Next, deal with what is. Deal with what is. Think about it. When was the last time you were able to change the past? Think about it now. When was the last time you were able to change the past? It doesn't matter what should have happened, it matters what is. That saves you the trouble of fighting out and figuring out who's to blame or worrying about how things coulda, shoulda, woulda been if only something had gone differently. It didn't. And that makes your choice a cinch. How do I want to react to the situation that is? How do I want to react? Number two, self empowerment. Now, number one, we just finished that and it had all these parts to it. Number one is responsibility. We're talking about accountability, okay? How much accountability does society put on you? How much? Accountability, number one, talking about responsibility, accountability. Self empowerment is number two. There's only one kind of empowerment, and that is self empowerment. Unlike granting authority, empowering comes from within. Okay? Empowering comes from within. So by empowering yourself, you take the actions and the risks to achieve a result and get what you want. Rather than waiting for someone to declare you empowered or give you that one lucky break, you step outside your comfort zone, make things happen, and answer for the outcomes. Next, getting started. How do we get started on it? Getting started on self empowerment. Here we go. We're talking about, oh my goodness, it is wonderful, isn't it? Accountability. Manage your expectations. The most direct route to self empowerment is to be clear about expectations, not only what you expect, but also what's expected of you. To do that, you need to ask questions, make agreements, and clarify everything in writing. Otherwise, you risk suffering the source of all upset, missed expectations. Next, take back your time. No is an empowering word. No, N-O, is an empowering word. So every time you utter, I can't say no, ask yourself if you can't or if you're unwilling to. Take back your time in other ways too, okay? You have other ways you can take your time back. Get rid of your to do lists, track projects and deadlines on a calendar instead. Resist overscheduling. You can't cram 12 hours of work into 8 hours, so stop trying. And estimate times realistically. Let's face it, most tasks take longer than we think they will. And that's a fact, isn't it? I'm working on another book now, and I've got a little bit more to go on this part of it. So it takes more time. Sometimes you write and it's just flowing, it's just flowing, it's just flowing. And then you hit a blank time where, I mean, you're thinking about it, but nothing that you feel to be put in there is coming to your mind. Okay? Nothing. So your time, you have to take your time. There's so many things that are going on. And it said, so you think it's going to take 12 hours? You can put 12 hours of work into 8 hours. You cannot do it. And estimate times realistically. That's, let's face it, most tasks take longer than we think they will, and that's for sure. Because even though this is not going to be a lengthy book with many, 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 many pages in it, but I still am working on it and it's taking more time. Not that I'm disappointed because I really did not put a time stamp on ending it, but it does take more time because there are many things that come to mind. Sometimes you can write something and then you think of something else, you think of something else, then you think, where should I put this? Where should I put this? It's just a task at hand and one that I'm really enjoying, okay? Next, sing your own praises. It's an all too common workplace mantra. One day they'll notice how much I do around here and give me the recognition I deserve. Not take stock of your personal talents and triumphs and let the higher ups know who you are and how you contribute. All right. Number three, personal accountability. Unlike responsibility, the before, and self empowerment, the during, personal accountability is the after. It's a willingness to answer for the outcomes of your choices, actions, and behaviors. When you're personally accountable, you stop assigning blame, shooting on people, and making excuses. Instead, you take the fall when your choices cause problems. You take the fall. Accountability, okay? Getting started. How do you get started with taking accountability? Tell the truth. Everybody messes up sometimes, and I mean everybody. Everybody messes up sometime. Lying about it or trying to cover it up always makes it worse. No exceptions. Just ask former President Bill Clinton, who paid a steep price, impeachment, for lying to a grand jury. And now we see that all that they did to him in this present day, worse has been done to certain people, and there is no accountability to them. So, hey, leave Bill Clinton alone. He's done nothing like some people have done, and they're in positions that they really shouldn't be in. But they're there and doing all kinds of things, okay, of whom I will not name, okay? And this, I'm not taking the blame because I didn't call any names, okay, except for President Clinton in his defense. Save yourself some time. Don't tell untruths. Nobody believes them anyway, or even you. Police yourself. Are you accountable for your actions, even if nobody holds you accountable or nobody catches you? You bet you are. So be your own accountability cop and police yourself. On the long and winding road of life, choose accountability at every turn. And I was just talking yesterday about someone. It's this little girl. She does this commercial. She's writing on the sidewalk with chalk, and what she's saying is, and she's really talking about accountability. Ability, and I didn't look the commercial up because it just came to my mind again. And she said, uh, doing the right thing and accountability, or being honest with yourself, is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. Holding yourself accountable, okay? On the long run, long and winding road of life, choose accountability at every turn. Next, look to yourself first. When trouble arises, look first to yourself. Ask four specific questions. What is the problem? What am I doing or not doing to contribute to the problem? What will I do differently to help solve the problem? And how will I be accountable for the result? I like this. This is really good. Personal accountability is sorely lacking and urgently needed in business and across society as a whole. Wait no longer, do it now. Hone in on the skills to that will get you your success. And I think there's a typo here. Hone on to the skills that will get you your success with our course. And this is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And you can choose accountability and own your success at work and in life. And then they have a place where you can jumpstart career growth by boosting your competitive skills, and you can sign up. So this site is amnet.org, amnet.org. Okay, accountability. Now let's go to the next one. Oh my goodness, this is wonderful. Talking about accountability. Some people don't like to be uh, accountable. Some people don't like to be held accountable. That's not my fault. If it hadn't been for this one, if it hadn't been for that one, that wouldn't have happened. It's not my fault. Everybody's blaming me. Oh, yeah. Accountability. I have two from Psychology Today, but let me go to this. I just finished the amnet.com. Okay, so I have two more left here. Psychology Today, accountable to yourself and why it matters. And I think I might want to do this one first. Accountability, shame versus guilt. All right. And this is by Carol A. Lambert, MSW. Carol A. Lambert in Psychology Today. Accountability, shame versus guilt. Shame, not guilt, gets in the way of taking responsibility. And this is posted in 2021 on the 21st of January, and Karen Perina reviewed it. Okay, so we're going on into it. When we hold someone accountable, a guilt prone person is likely to hear you, while the shame prone individual reacts with defensiveness and avoids taking responsibility, all in the service of not feeling their shame. In the realm of intimate partner abuse, holding those accountable for their abusive behavior is often unsuccessful because of feelings of shame. Most attempts to address these behaviors frequently lead to reactions of outright denial, anger, or more abuse. Shame can lead to harmful behavior at the same time, lending itself to not seeing the harm done. Oh my goodness. So, differentiating shame from guilt. Shame can be described as the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging, something we've experienced, done, or failed to do makes us unworthy of connection. This is by Brené Brown on the podcast July 2020. That's what she said. Importantly, shame and guilt are quite different emotions. You hear that? Shame and guilt. This is very important. And we're still talking about accountability, okay? Shame and guilt are quite different emotions. Guilt feelings arise when we feel we did something bad. Shame is about believing we are bad. I'm bad. I'm no good. I'm unlovable. When we hold a deep shame, we are at risk for many psychological conditions such as depression, addiction, violence, etc. And I remember someone just told me, I think it was this week, that they had to tell a young person, the young person said, I'm bad. And the person said, no, you're not bad. Don't say that. I'm bad. And the person said, you're not bad. Don't say that. And so the person told him to repeat after me, I'm not bad. And the young person repeated, I'm not bad. And the person told him, you're not bad. But some people think this, and some people are considered bad. And that's why they're telling there's a difference. There's a difference between in shame and guilt. Okay? And some people get those mixed up. And it could be shame that's making a person say they're bad. Okay? Sometimes. These emotions are totally different. They're different emotions. Guilt feelings arise when we feel we did something bad. Shame is about believing we are bad. When we hold deep shame, we are at risk for many psychological conditions such as depression, addiction, violence, etc. Reactions from guilt versus shame. James Gilligan, MD, in his profound work on violence, argued that what serial killers fear the most is shame. Oh my goodness. Both guilt and shame can be elicited by some kind of perceived failure. In the reaction of guilt, the person feels some sense of responsibility for what they did, some empathy toward the one they impacted or hurt. And if anger arises, it's managed in a way that does not lead to avoiding the responsibility. Okay? The guilt prone person is apt to lean into repair the hurt and restore connection with the one they slighted. Shame is far messier. The shame prone person reacts with avoidance, irritability, anger, hostility, or outright aggression. Talking about shame and guilt, the difference and the different actions they can cause. Feeling shame can ignite a person's defense to externalize the horrible, unworthy feeling of I'm bad that arises. By blaming outwardly, they assign responsibility for their misstep to the other. They can then feel justified in attacking the messenger by shaming, bullying and violence. Oh my goodness. Shame and intimate partner abuse. I didn't know we were going to get off into this. And so the author goes on to say, in my work with intimate partner abuse, a partner addressing their concerns with their abuser about their hurtful language or behavior usually doesn't get very far. We're talking about accountability, and this all goes with it. It's clear that those who engage in abusive behavior are coming from a place of deep shame. For example, just pointing out that a partner needs to help more around the house can ignite a tirade. From a place of indignation, the abuser can use blame, degradation, gaslighting, lying, intimidation, threats, violent attacks, and murder. In essence, their reaction toward their partner is in the service of avoidance marked by I'm never responsible and never need to apologize. Oh my goodness. This got deep, didn't it? My goodness. And we started out we're talking about accountability. Shame driven behavior can be misinterpreted by society. We're talking about how much accountability does society place on us. In a legal divorce case, a guardian ad litem, JL, acronym, regarding custody and visitation of their children, reported that the plaintiff stated that her spouse threw a plate across the room at her and was bringing forth abuse allegations. Now, when the judge referenced the violent behavior, the lawyer said, she made him mad, Your Honor. The judge accepted the explanation and he was off the hook. Isn't that something? And so much of this happens every single day. Every single day this happens. They're off the hook. Here is an example of a person holding her abusive partner responsible not in the home but in court where she expected to be heard and safe. In the end, she was held responsible for causing her partner's violence because of what she said that caused his anger that led to the violence. It happens so many times. Thank you so much for being here with me. I truly appreciate your presence. You are wonderful, wonderful. Good evening, Nancy, Apostle Washington. Thank you so much. I love you too. I love you, everybody. Thank you for being here. In this case, the abuser was a man and the abused was a woman. Both the lawyer and the judge, for the most part, held her responsible for speaking up to her partner. It's deeply worrisome when those who are in positions of authority accept a defensive externalization as justified. It happens, I'm telling you, every single day. Look at the that this country is in. Now, I won't dwell on that. No one can make you be abusive to keep you from being abusive. Oh, that's a great statement, isn't it? No one can make you be abusive or keep you from being abusive. We can feel anger, but how we choose to express that anger is our responsibility and ours alone. So true. Now, this next section here is accountability is necessary. Accountability is necessary. Holding others accountable for their behavior is important, yet happens too little. Yes, it's difficult and it takes work. You can hold someone responsible without name calling or demeaning, but with direct and respectful language. If it taps into a place of shame for the other person who then reacts negatively, keep in mind that you are not responsible for their reaction. Don't take on the blame they're sending your way. Be clear about what you are and are not responsible for. Stay grounded and keep your focus on the matter at hand. You can always try and then try again. In the end, if they don't take responsibility for themselves, then you learned something important about them. Oh my goodness, this is so good. You learned something important about them. And that is the end of this. This is good. And this is Psychology Today. Now let's go to our next one. This is Psychology Today also, accountable to yourself and why it matters. How to be accountable to yourself and how it matters. And this is by Robin, Robyne. I'd never seen it spelled like that before. Robin Hanley Defoe, ed.d. How to be accountable to yourself and why it matters. Self accountability is the key to self trust and a well aligned life. August the 7th, 2025 is when this is posted, so just a few days ago. How about that? And Michelle Quirk reviewed this. So it's been checked and double checked. It's been proofed, okay? Key points here. Your values and standards form a personal line that can help guide your behavior and how you show up. The next point here, following through on the promises you make to yourself builds confidence and restores self trust. The third point here is accountability grows through honesty, realistic goals, and actions that align with who you are. This is very important. These lessons help me so much. How about you? I'm just not here just throwing something out. This is very important to me. And somebody needs this, don't we know it? We are often taught to be accountable to others, to follow through on our commitments, meet the expectations set out for us, and show up reliably. Many of us are quite good at this. But what about when it comes to keeping promises to ourselves? Think about how often you've broken the promises you've made to yourself. From skipping that morning walk or staying up too late when you said you would not, to letting your boundaries blur or postponing something that matters to you. How many times have we done that? Countless times, haven't we? There's far less focus on learning how to be accountable to ourselves. The promises we make to ourselves somehow feel less urgent, less important, and easier to push aside and break But each time we break a promise to ourselves, we let ourselves down. Our self trust begins to erode. If we repeat the same patterns, continuously break promises to ourselves, and ignore our own standards, we reinforce the belief that we're not someone we can count on. Oh my goodness, that is so true. Your self accountability is foundational to a well lived life, and is often tested more quietly and regularly than we may realize. It's in the everyday choices that either move us closer to or further away from who we want to be. And next, we talk about your personal line. Each of us has a personal line, Line. This line represents the values, expectations, and standards we hold for ourselves. Above the line is where we live in alignment, okay? Above the line is where we live in alignment. Our choices, behaviors, and actions reflect our values and standards. Living below the line happens when we act out of alignment. These are the moments when we work against our values. It's that feeling of disappointment, pang of guilt, or nudge from our intuition that something doesn't feel right. While no one else may notice, we do. Have you ever felt like that? Oh, yes. And so the writer is saying, as I wrote in Stress Wisely, when we align with our stress wisely, okay, is her writing. She said, when I wrote in Stress Wisely, when we align with our values, we become accountable. That's Haley Defoe, 2023. Self accountability is something we can foster. Next, fostering self accountability. Number one, define your line. Self accountability starts with self awareness. What do you stand for? What are your non negotiables? What matters most to you? When you have clarity around who you are and who you are not, your personal standards become a guide that shapes how you show up, how you feel about yourself. Oh, yes. It comes down to checking in. Is this action choice or behavior above or below the line I've set for myself? Think about it. Check it out. Is this action choice or behavior above or below the line I've set for myself? Number two, follow through on promises to yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce trust and strength, and you strengthen your relationship with yourself. There's immense self esteem that comes from being a person who does what they say they're going to do. The more you practice aligning your actions with your intentions, the more you will reinforce the belief that you are reliable. Following through for yourself matters. I will say that again. Following through for yourself matters. And so many of us have used so many of our years in trying to matter more to others than we do ourselves. But we have to follow through for yourself matters, okay? Following through for ourselves because this matters. This matters. Yes. Number three, use identity statements. Using the line, I am somebody who can help clarify the line you want to hold for yourself. Here's some examples. I am somebody who follows through. I am somebody who moves my body every day. I am somebody who puts the phone away during meals with my family. I am somebody who cares about basic courtesies and manners. And what did Jesse Jackson say? I am somebody. Well, oh yes, you are somebody. We are somebody. When you consistently act in alignment with these statements, your identity strengthens, and so does your trust in yourself. These small actions create congruence and keep you in alignment with your values. You choose to put your phone down because you value connection, family, and presence. Walks are part of your daily routine because you value health. You block time for work because you value commitment and are someone who follows through. You strive to leave a space better than you found it. Oh, yeah. And you don't interrupt others because you are somebody who cares about basic courtesies and manners. Over time, it stops being a question of whether or not you follow through, and it becomes part of who you are. Number four, be honest about your excuses. We all have go to excuses and can pull us off, and that can pull us off course. Those go to excuses can pull us off course. You say you will get up and go for a walk tomorrow, but then you snooze your alarm. You tell yourself you will take your lunch break, but then you work straight through it. You say you are someone who honors their limits, but you say yes when you mean no. How many of us have done that? Oh my goodness, we've done that. When you reflect, you might come upon some patterns. When you sense you're about to negotiate yourself out of your commitments, my gentle invitation, says the author, is to pause and ask, am I making an excuse or is there a valid reason? There is no shame or judgment here, just noticing. Just check yourself, check yourself. The reality is, we know when we're holding ourselves accountable and we know when we're making excuses. Oh, yes, we do. Number five, practice self compassion. Oh, we talk about this very often. Practice self compassion. Yes. Building accountability is not about being harsh or self critical. Self compassion must go hand in hand with self discipline and self accountability. Sometimes we have competing priorities and commitments that shift. For example, skipping the walk might be the right call because your body needs rest. What matters is the honesty behind the choice. Creating space for self compassion also looks like uh, setting attainable goals, and creating realistic systems that support follow through. Rather than promising daily walks and breaking the promise 6 out of 7 days, perhaps you start with once or twice a week and build from there. Now we're going to find out why it matters. When we live and operate above our own line, we build real self trust. We reduce decision fatigue and procrastination. We draw in others who are also striving to live in alignment. Self accountability is like saying you value yourself enough to keep the promises you make to yourself. When you follow through for yourself, you're building trust in the longest and most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. And you know, that is so for real true, isn't it? It's the truth. And what do we say about the truth? The truth will make you free. It will set you free. And I want to repeat that about this relationship because we don't think about these things like in everyday. I know I don't. When you follow through for yourself, you're building trust in the longest and most important relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. So here are a few questions for you to reflect on. What standards do you want to hold yourself to? Where are you already showing up the way you want to? Where do you feel most proud of your follow through? Are you or are your actions aligned with the person you want to be? Are they taking you in the direction you want to go? Where do you tend to make excuses or negotiate with yourself? Are there patterns? What is one I am somebody who statement you want to live today or moving forward? Oh my goodness, this is so good. And here are the final thoughts. The final thoughts. And we're right on time, too. When we live, behave, and show up in alignment with our values, it feels good. And oh, it does feel so good, doesn't it? It keeps us pointed in the direction we want to go. It becomes easier to stay accountable to ourselves. This isn't about being perfect or always getting it right. It's about doing the best we can to operate above the line more often than not. And when we inevitably drift below it, we notice, we realign, and we choose again. Because the way we honor ourselves and show up in small moments builds a life that feels aligned. Oh, this is so good. I tell you. So that is the end of today's webcast. Oh, accountability. 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 How much does society place on us? Sometimes too much. So that's why we have to be accountable to ourselves first, and then we'll know the limits. Live above the line. And if we drift below the line, check yourself out and get back above that line. Okay? Because you are the most important person to you. And then you spread you out to help others, but you have to take care of you first. If you don't hold yourself accountable, how can you really honestly and earnestly try to hold somebody else accountable for something? It's not fair. It's not fair. Okay? I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here with me today. And God willing, tomorrow, the Mother's Board Inc. will webcast beginning at 1 p.m. Myself and Dr. JJ McCollister. And we talk about so many things, very interesting things. And we try to get the facts out here. And you think and you take the action that you need that is good for you. Okay? I love you so much. And please remember my music. Remember, I have a 4 parts series on Spotify. Ain't No Love, and my music is all over the World Wide Web. So you can get it for yourself, okay? I love you so much. Enjoy the remainder of your day, night, evening, afternoon, morning, midday, whichever it is. And I pray and trust that God will continually bless and keep you, and that whatever you need, God will supply it according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus. And he said, anything you ask in my name, I will do it. So whatever it is that you need, I am believing with you, okay, that it's going to happen in the name of Jesus. I love you. Please let me know you are here and please share this webcast.